It was getting late in the day today, and I actually was getting legitimately worried that there wasn't going to be anything I could meme on. But then, as always, Hipsters of the Coast delivers with a classic shitpost of their own. 3 lessons learned from the comment section. They literally wrote an article on the comment section. Very forward-thinking, Rich Stein. And much credit to Rich, even though I like to meme on his articles. The guy, at least to date, has not blocked me. I know he generally interacts with me, although he didn't respond to my request for an interview at GP Vegas. That was a little sad because he always interacts with me on Twitter just fine. The first couple paragraphs of this is complete dribble. He basically wholeheartedly agrees that we need to police speech. Now, I am not one to tell someone who is not a friend, who doesn't know that I'm kidding, something horrible, right? That's just, I mean, these things don't need to be said because they don't actually happen. Strangers in real life don't tell other strangers to, KYS in real life. It doesn't happen. But, of course, he has to slide on in and judge the comments. Now, lesson 1, we don't need to talk about that. He's correct about that. The more comments and stuff and replies Facebook does push to the top. His general point here in lesson 1 and 2 is that the majority of the comments in the Facebook thread were in agreement. And I would agree with that. I would say, what does he say, 70-30 or something? 50-50 split of positive and negative reactions that very likely implies the split is much heavier towards positive side of things. Maybe that's true. I would agree. I would concede that the significant portion of the article was, I mean, the significant amount of comments were in agreement with the article. And that generally happens when, the author of the article shares it out on their own social media. Even when I release a controversial video or a video a lot of people don't like, still the majority of the comments are positive. Now, in lesson 3, he really loses the plot. Some Magic players are horrible people, right? Disagreeing with someone or saying something mean on the internet is a horrible person. Now, I'm actually one of those people who had a negative comment about the article in the comment thread. So I can only assume that Rich Stein is calling me a horrible person. And in fact, 30% of you as Magic players are also horrible people. The Magic community is still full of horrible people. And Brian DeMars was 100% justified in writing the article on Channel Fireball and should be commended. Yes, it's stunning and brave to take a far left opinion in a far left space. Stunning and brave. If you read the article's comments, you'll know, for the most part, it was just one single troll. And when he says troll, what he means is someone who disagrees with him. This is a common tactic of poor argument skills, social justice types who aren't able to argue or to back up their own line of thinking. They simply call people trolls if they disagree with them. It wasn't surprising to see the comment section evolve this way because it really only takes one spark to create a dumpster fire. That's pretty funny. Okay, good one on that one, Rich. The arguments are all predictable and non-compelling, but that isn't the point. So meaning, I automatically, the guy who's getting most of the upvotes was a troll. It didn't matter that one of the top comments was one that was disagreeing with the article. All the upvotes don't count because the guy that wrote it was a troll. The most important lesson to learn from the comment section of the article is that these viewpoints exist in our community, and the people who defend them will stop at nothing to make baseless arguments defending themselves. It doesn't matter what their arguments are indefensible. That's his opinion, by the way. just so that they have the soapbox to make them. By the way, a lot of people making comments on the article have a much larger reading audience than that article could have ever hoped. If I didn't make that article about it, guaranteed, if I didn't make that video about that article, probably would have half the views. In the end, it might be a good thing that comments turn into the dumpster. It helps solidify the fact that horrible people exist in the community. Now, don't forget, they're everywhere. They're playing at your local game store. This is a common tactic, right? This is the same baloney that fake gamer girls use to write their articles about how they're always constantly abused at local game stores. These fake game stores where all these fake gamers are telling people to end their own lives, or to, you know, that they are, you know, that they're saying these horrible things. It just doesn't really happen. Amongst friends, of course, it probably does happen, although I've never said these things to a friend unironically. And audience matters, right? If you're in a group of 4 people, what they don't tell you is, like, if somebody says this at a local game store, I'm not saying it has never happened, but I'm saying it's never happened between 2 people that didn't understand the context. And if it did, I'm sure that person was dealt with accordingly. Because if someone said it to me and they meant it, we'd have a problem. And if somebody said it to somebody else that I knew at the game store and they meant it, we'd have a problem. And I know most of you are just like me in that sense. Most of us would never let somebody say something like this to somebody and mean it. That's why I know this entire narrative is fabricated. You shouldn't read the comment section, but if you do, learn something from me. That's right. You should learn from the guy who literally said, Rich Stein is glad we turned the comments off here at Hipsters of the Coast because he, like Brian DeMars, was giving too many people incurable diseases. So what he's saying here, if I could phrase it a different way, is conversation is an incurable disease. Disagreement is an incurable disease. You're supposed to just put an article out and not accept any feedback. This is one step away from, Wizards taking away bylines. This is how these people act. The more people that disagree with them, the more people they consider trolls. The smaller and tighter their ranks become. And unfortunately, some people that think this way are in positions of power at many of the games we love. At Wizards of the Coast, at Marvel, in comics. This is a sad reality. I think the reason this article is written is because the real article is not as interesting. The real article is actual gamers would never put up with toxic speech like this at a game store. And if they did, we would all know about it. None of these people ever have real examples. All these females that have endless harassment stories never seem to have reported it to police, never seem to have left a public statement on like somebody's Facebook page, never seem to leave a bad Yelp review. But whenever they need content, they always seem to have been victimized by something. In this case, it's words they didn't like. Sometimes it's the male glare or whatever they need to make up to garner more oppression points. And these people are dying out, thankfully. And we can milk this lol cow for maybe another couple of months. But these people are definitely losing power and losing influence because what's happening is they're scaring people away from the game, right? People don't want to play Magic in a community that they have to read these kind of crap articles. People don't want to stay and play Magic when they read article after article about how they're toxic or how women are getting verbally assaulted in game stores when it just, it doesn't match reality, and people get sick of that. Look what's happening to Marvel sales. Look what's going to happen to Magic sales. More and more people are not going to the local game store. More and more people are playing games online that are not Magic the Gathering, and this is at least part of the reason why. And these people will never stop until they destroy everyone around them because they are, of course, deeply sad individuals and want everyone else to feel the same way they do.